So you are excited about organizing this space in your home. First question you need to ask yourself, do you have a plan? No worries, because I am going to share with you my 5-step organizing process to help you transform that space. Welcome back. Today I am going to be sharing with you my 5-step organizing process that I use to organize just about any space, whether in my own home or in my clients' homes. So I'm going to be walking you through each step, sharing with you why each is important and how they all come together to help you create a more functional and beautiful space. If you are new here, go ahead and click that like button. I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and to turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any videos that I post. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do is remove everything from the space. I know that sounds like it's gonna be a headache and it seems like there's no point to it, or it might be very overwhelming, but that is very important to do so. So why exactly do we want to take everything out of that space? Well, there's a few reasons why. The first thing is you want to be able to see everything that you have. I believe that you can't truly organize a space unless you put your hands on each item. So taking that time to put your hands on everything as you're taking it out of the space allows you to see what you have. And most times you may be surprised by how much you actually have. Another reason why you want to take everything out is because you want to be able to create a blank canvas for you to start organizing. You want to be able to see that room and all of the possibilities that you'll have for it by seeing it empty. When it's cluttered and there's so much things in there, your ability to be creative about what you want to see and envision when that space is over might be reduced if you're someone that is easily overwhelmed by looking at a lot of things. So seeing that space completely empty allows you to open up your mind for all the possibilities that you can do with that space. The only time I might recommend not taking everything out of this space is if you're doing a project that you might not be able to finish that day. So it's a bigger project or there's a lot of items in that space and you're a person that becomes overwhelmed or has anxiety when you see a lot of things, it might not be a good idea for you to take everything out. Instead, I would recommend starting with one section of the room or one category of items that you can take out. That way, you're kind of sectioning it off into manageable pieces, and then when you come back, you can do the same thing and completely finish the project by taking everything out and going through the steps, or going back again and starting with another section or another category of items. Okay, so now that everything is out of your space, you want to be able to start making sense of all of it. So the next thing you want to do is to categorize those items. Categorizing is simply sorting or grouping like items. So you're finding the items that are the same and putting them together. This is really important because in addition to allowing you to take inventory of how much of something that you have, it also ensures that you are creating an actual system with your organizing. So think about when you go into a grocery store. There's different sections of the store. There's signage that tells you where each item is, and there's aisles where things are categorized and grouped based on how they are similar to each other.
So I'm using my kids' playroom as an example. Here you can see I've categorized some of their toys into groups: magnetic tiles, doll clothes, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, dinosaurs, farm animals and accessories, some little figures, and blocks and dolls.
The next step is to declutter, and I would say this is probably the most important step because it helps your space look the best and it makes it the most functional when you're finished. And so with decluttering, you want to remove anything that you're not using, that you don't need, or that you don't even like because it's just taking up space. So you're only allowing yourself to keep those things that you have space for and that you truly want and need.
Decluttering can be a lengthy process depending on how much clutter you have, so give yourself enough time for this step and trust the process. For each item you pick up, ask yourself these specific questions. Do you love it? Do you use it? Do you need it? And do you have space for it? Sticking to these questions as much as possible will keep the process moving forward and minimize making emotional decisions about your possessions. After asking yourself these questions, from there you decide what will be kept, donated, or tossed.
The next thing I do is to contain the categories. So now that they have been put into categories and decluttered, all of my categories are now things that are left over that are actually going to be kept. And so you want to be able to put those in their individual bins or baskets, or it can mean designating a particular place for it. So like that could be on a shelf, that could be in a cabinet, but by containing it, you are creating a home for it.
So here you see that I'm containing all of the categories that I previously made into these transparent plastic bins. I got these particular gray and clear bins from Target, and the taller ones that I'm putting the magnetic tiles and blocks in are from Amazon. You can find the links in the description. As always, make sure you declutter and measure your space before you shop for any organizing products.
So the final step is to organize everything back into the space. So now that your categories have been nicely contained, you can now gather everything and arrange them in a nice and beautiful way that is functional in that space. For this, you may choose to purchase additional organizing materials like cubbies or shelving units to make it more beautiful, to be able to put those contained categories onto something. Or you may choose to use what you already have and set it up just in a better, more functional way than what you had before. When you are arranging items back into the space, consider all of the individuals in your family that are going to be using those items. So if you have items in there that your children may need to access, making sure that they are on lower shelves or in areas where they can be easily accessible to smaller children. If there are items that don't get used as much, it may make more sense for them to be higher up on an organizing system. So when you're thinking about arranging items, be mindful of everyone that's going to be using them and how often that category is actually going to be used to help you better identify where you should place that item in the room.
Okay, so now I'm just placing everything back where I want it. You can see that I have these IKEA cubby shelving units on their side to make them lower to the floor and easier for my kids to reach their toys. So here's the finished product. We have this large bin that I used for all my son's tractors. Here is just a sitting area for them to color and do schoolwork. This side is my daughter's side. I used a combination of fabric and plastic bins. I like my spaces to be organized, but I'm not always overly particular about everything matching and having a whole color scheme. Especially for my kids' playroom, I want it to look like a space that gets used a lot, so I don't mind it not being too perfect or being Pinterest-worthy. I'm just interested in it being a functional space for them to easily find what they want. In the center are their craft and educational items. And then my son's toys are on the other side. I split their toys up simply because I found it easier for them when they are cleaning up. Then on the other side of the room, I have a 3-tier bookshelf for their puzzles and then their play kitchen. For additional help with these steps, visit my website, itsordered.com. Click More in the menu and then drop down to Resources and Features. And then right at the top of the page, you'll find a document that you can download for each step.
Thanks again for watching. I really hope you found these 5 steps to be helpful for you in your organizing process. If you have any questions or any ideas for new content that you would like for me to post, be sure to put them down in the comment section. And until next time, I will see you guys later.